It's a tin box which is about 6 inches long and about 3 inches wide, and it's made of metal, tin, and it's silver, shiny silver, and it has hand beaten designs on each side. So there's a posing lady in a swimsuit on one side, St. George and a dragon on the other side, and then inside it has the name James Short, and then it says for present, and at the other side it says LR POW Camp 105, and it's a cigarette box. It was made by a prisoner of war who probably had the initials LR, and he was Italian, and he was being held at Camp 105, which was in Wooler in Northumberland, and my grandfather, James Short, used to drive him to the farms in the area around Wooler to do work for the war effort. So they used to send the prisoners out onto the farms to help on the farms. The prisoners used to make quite a lot of stuff, so they made my granny a jewellery box and money boxes and earrings and toys, and this was just one of the things that they made for the people who they thought had helped them. They were quite friendly because they'd probably rather be in Wooler working on a farm than be fighting in the war, and I think they had quite a good life. It's not like the war films where they were held in tiny huts with loads of barbed wire. I think it was quite free. I think they would have to be in at night, but quite a lot of them stayed locally. There's some Germans who stayed locally. He was given it in probably the early 40s, probably 42, 43, something like that. And there was a matching one made for his son, my great-grandfather, which has a different design on. It doesn't have the nudie lady on because I don't think my grandma would have appreciated him having a cigarette case with a nudie lady on it. Whereas Grandad Jim could probably get away with it. But it probably changed my life when I got it because it gave me a sort of closer feeling to being close to the sort of family history, which again made me sort of like old stuff even more. I started to collect things when I was about 10, and when I started to get interested in old things, my granny gave it to me. The grandad who this was given to, he'd been in the First World War, so he was quite a character, and he was the first man to win the Wooler Leek Club competition since the Second World War. They grow leeks and see who can grow the biggest and fattest leek. He won a china cabinet, and then he also won it the following year and won another china cabinet as well. So he was quite good at growing leeks. He always lived in and around Wooler, so he lived on a farm when he was young, and he worked with horses, and then he went off to the First World War and was in the horse and field artillery, so he worked with horses in the war, and then came back and worked on the farm. Then when he retired, he worked as a gardener, and then he just sort of lived a general old man's retired life, I think, growing leeks.